Baker with Baker DMM. This is our video digest newsletter. The topic of today's newsletter is going to be, you have the power. And before I jump into our discussion, I'll read you a quote. Quote states, "The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything." And that quote was by Albert Einstein, and I thought it was a great segue into our topic today. And that it goes back a few months. A few months ago, I was actually exchanging some texts with a good friend of mine I've known since middle school, and he was expressing his frustration and his kind of his disenchantment and just really disappointment about his experiences with his job. He had been there for a number of years. He works in corporate America, Fortune 500 company, and it started out through a series of texts. And then we ultimately had an over-the-phone conversation. But, and it was during the day, and, I was trying to focus on work. But when I went back to read some of his texts, one of them actually was just really powerful and really struck me and kind of stood out. And I've got it right here. And it says, "I'm good, just tired of all the corruption and lies. It's whatever, it has no power over me." And and I don't know all the details of his situation. He gave me kind of a high-level overview of it, but something was going on within his company, and I felt like he felt like he was being pressured into doing something he didn't want to do, or that wasn't in the best interest of whoever his client was or whoever his customer was. And I think these feelings had been brewing for some time, and finally he'd had enough, and he said, "You know what? I don't feel comfortable doing this. I don't like doing it. I don't care how much the job pays me. I don't care what it's doing for me. I'd rather not have the job and figure out another way to make money, or maybe figure out another maybe there's another job out there for me that I could do, maybe make less money, but I would be much more satisfied and feel more whole as a person, and feel mentally, emotionally, and spiritually more invested in what he was doing." So this experience was so powerful for him that he actually ended up quitting his job and is basically taken on a new path in life. And I thought it was worthwhile mentioning here and talking to you all about it, and relating it to personal finance and taking what he stated so eloquently and succinctly via text message and further in conversation over the phone. But not everybody in the world is going to be a billionaire. Many of us probably won't even be a millionaire. I mean, that maybe in another 20, 30, 40, 50 years when inflation catches up, and maybe at that point we'll be talking more about trillionaires, and maybe the billionaire will be the new millionaire. But until that time, for the time being, for most people, particularly people in the United States of America at this point in time, in 2018, if you've got a million or a few million saved in retirement, I mean, you're doing pretty well. You're doing much better than the average. Most of the people in this country aren't going to have that much in retirement. I know right now there's a huge concern that for the population, the baby boomers and the people that are now in their 60s and 70s, getting in their 80s, aren't as well prepared as maybe previous generations for retirement. And there's a huge concern about that, particularly with the 60s and 70s, that they're just not going to have enough money to live off of in retirement. But we all got to deal with money. We all have to work. We all have to do our best to save, or if we're not saving, hopefully we have some sort of retirement stream of income when we get to retirement. But with that said, money's important, but as my friend mentioned earlier, you get sick of the corruption, you get sick of the lies, and whatever that may be the case, in your life or your family or friend's life, there is something to be said to take matters and take the power into your hands, be in control of your own destiny, and making decisions for yourself to live the most fulfilling, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, the best well-rounded life you can live. And that doesn't always mean that you're in a role or you're in a job or an opportunity or a career that's going to be making the most money. There are a lot of different paths and ways you can go. And I think if you can live more from a place of being centered and making decisions from a more balanced, centered spiritual state, ultimately that's going to drive more satisfaction throughout your entire life. You know, it's going to help you retain the power of your internal being. Because in the end, there could be corrupt officials all over the world. There could be people that are much more wealthy and rich than you. But there's one thing that no one who, no matter who they are in the world, can control, no matter how powerful they are. And that is your internal presence, your oneness with the universe, your peace, your internal peace, your spirituality. And you know, in some of our other videos, we've talked about oneness with the universe and how we are, you know, really the universe came from one. We are all one. In the end, you know, people are born and they die. No one is created. No one's conquered that feat. No one knows how to stop death. Everyone in the history of the world that has come has either died or is still currently living and ultimately will die. And then that's not meant to say to be morbid. It's just to bring a more centeredness and a balance to what our day-to-day activities are, and to hopefully drive more enjoyment, satisfaction, more balanced, you know, interactions through your day, and not to be so concerned about money and ultimately, you know, a paycheck or essentially selling your soul, or you know, living in lies and corruption just to make a paycheck and just to make ends meet. Because in the end, it's not all just about the money. And the more that you can grasp that, the more that you can understand that. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to do well with our life. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't participate in life and do the best that you can and live the most healthy and great life that you can, and figure out who you are as a person and what you do best and what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. And that doesn't mean that you just sit around and choose to be lazy and not use your brain or your body or, you know, all the great things that you're capable of doing. That by no means does it mean that not to participate in life and to do the best you can, but it does mean that you do the best you can. You put your foot forward and you work hard and you try to do the right thing and ultimately try to leave the world in a better place than when you got here. And that's all you can do. And let the cards fall where they fall. Because again, not everybody's going to be a billionaire, trillionaire, you know, millionaire. I hope you are, but not everybody's going to be that. And you can't put your final, you know, satisfaction or that final, you know, win or lose based on that dollar amount. You can't do that. You have to have a more meaningful, fulfilling life besides just the end of the day, the dollar sign. And in the end, as far as I know, as far as everybody else knows, you know, when our life is up, when our time is up, we can't take all the money that we saved with us. You know, hopefully if you do have a bunch of money, you plan well for retirement, you plan well for your life, and then that way with your estate, you can distribute your assets to your wishes and the way that you want it, to whether it's to your family, your friends, or a charity or whoever. But it's not going with you. And when you leave your physical body, who knows where we're going after that, but your spirit, your spirituality, your soul, your oneness with the universe, you know, the religions and all the spiritual gurus, we basically return back to being one with the universe. We're there now, but we leave the physical form, and then we're there just with the energy of what's out there into the universe and beyond. So hopefully this information will help you and bring more of a centered balancedness to your life. As my friend said, you know, it's whatever. Don't let the power and the lies and the corruption overtake you. And as Albert Einstein said, you know, we have the power, you know, to do what we need to do to not let those people that do have the control, the people that are in the government, that have the money, you know, the biggest failure and the biggest way that we could destroy society is by us not acting in our best interest and not standing up for ourselves, not having a voice and not taking action on what we need to do to live the most fulfilling life for ourselves. And ultimately, if you do take that approach, in the end, it's going to affect your bottom line and it's going to help improve your financial position. I think if you're operating from a centeredness, from a oneness, from your internal peace and with clarity, that's going to ultimately help you make better financial decisions and improve your bottom line. So if you found this information interesting or helpful, please feel free to share it on all of your social media channels. This could be with your family or friends, or whoever you think might benefit from viewing the information. If you ever have a question you'd like for me to answer directly, go to our website, www.bakerdmm.com. Scroll to the bottom, fill out your name and information, write a few sentences, and I'll try to answer that in one of our upcoming newsletters. And if you ever like to get my help personally and directly, the quickest and easiest way is to go to our website. At the top of the page, you'll find our phone number as well as a request an appointment button. And if you scroll to the bottom, you can also book a direct phone consulting session via the PayPal button. And with any of these options, I'll be in touch with you in 24 to 48 hours to confirm and schedule our appointment. And until then, I will talk to you all soon.